if you've been wrestling with some troublesome tension issues, you are in the right place. Today I am covering the 5 most common tension troubles that people have with their machine. So you are very much not alone. So I'm going to go through those 5 top tension issues and give you some solutions that you might want to try with your machine. So I am Kim. This is Quote with Kim. You're very welcome. Let's go take a look at our very first tension trouble. So if you found it difficult just to get your tension right in the first place, I've got a whole video on that, which you can check out via the link in the description below, or I'll pop it up at the end of this video. But it's a very, very quick recap. Your thread should be, your stitch line should be very just smooth and feeling like it's part of the fabric. If your tension dial is too loose, you'll find that your bobbin thread can really be seen on the bottom and you can pick it out. Basically, you don't want to do that. And if you've got loops as well, you'll probably find it's too loose. If it's too tight, it's feeling really horrible and the bobbin thread is going up to the right side of your fabric, then you need to loosen up your tension dial. And you can find your tension dial generally on the top of your machine here, or on the side of your machine, or you might find it on your little LCD display, or you might have an automatic tension setter. So what I would say is check out that video and also check out your instruction manual, because it's all in there. And in fact, there's about 4 pages in this particular manual on your tension dial. So check out your manual first up, just to get your tension right. But as I said, check out the video on that. Okay, secondly, if you are getting loops behind your stitch line. So here we've got a loose bobbin, but if you're getting really big loops, then something is definitely amiss. So we need to sort that out. So first of all, check that your bobbin is threaded correctly. It's often the first cause that causes those loops on the back of your work. So take your bobbin out and check it again to make sure that it is threaded correctly for your machine. And just remember, the vast majority of machines, the bobbin, the thread goes from the back out to the left in order to thread it into the bobbin casing. And that's whether it's a top loading machine or a side loading machine where you have the little cassettes or the cartridges to put them in. So it's a very common mistake for the thread to be going, for people to put the thread in coming this way out of their machine, but actually you want from the back to the left. And the same if you're putting in a cartridge, you have it winding this way, you drop it into the little casing and you bring your thread around this way. I've got a whole video on how to thread the side loading machine, so you might want to check that out. But in this top loading machine, I've got my thread from the back to the left, I'm popping it in and I can thread it in there just like so. So check that your bobbin is threaded correctly. Sometimes you can adjust your bobbin tension. This is not as scary as it sounds, and it's normally when you have the side loading machines with the little cases that the bobbin goes in, the bobbin cases. And on there you'll find a little screw just on the front where the front plate is. Just tighten that up very, very slightly. And that should sort your problem out. But again, check out your manual to find out how to do that. The other thing is we want to make sure that this whole of our undercarriage of our machine is nice and clean, because if you get any bits of thread in there or any lint or any fluff or basically anything at all, I have found cat hair and dog hair in machines, not mine, I hasten to add, but when machines are kicking up a fuss and the tension's out all over the place, you may find that there's some hair in here. Now, cats, as we know, love to lay about machines. It's not the safest place for them, but they do. So cat and dog hair fur can get into machines. So you need to get in here and clean up, and you need to take your base plate off and clean underneath your machine. So I will do that in a separate video. It will take too long for this video, but you get cleaning underneath there, get rid of all the lint, all the hair, all the fluff, and you might find that it works like clockwork again. So let's move on to number 3. Okay, so number 3 then is when your thread keeps breaking, and that can be a tension trouble. So there are a few reasons why your thread might break. First of all, you might have a dodgy needle. So you can't see this with the naked eye. I have got a whole video on why you need to change your needle, but your needle may be a bit blunt. It may have little burrs or, you know, just bits sticking out of it. Sorry, that sounds a bit very untechnical, and it is, but we're talking together, so I don't mind the untechnical bit. But if you put your needle under a magnifying glass, you would see that it's got sort of bits sticking out all over the place. And that is not good for our machine. So our machine complains by throwing the tension out. So if in doubt, change your needle. It's a really quick and easy thing to change. So you won't ever see all of this with the naked eye, by the way. So you just have to change your needle. And the rule of changing a needle is always every 8 hours of sewing. That does not mean you have to sew for 8 hours continuous, but about every 8 hours of sewing or the start of every new project, whichever comes closer. And yeah, I know there are people who say, well, I've had the same needle in my machine since before last century. Please change your needle. You'll find that your machine behaves better and your sewing is better as well, and your fabric will thank you for it. So get that needle changed. The second thing is, if your thread is old, now this isn't old, this is a brand new Gutermann thread, but if you have old thread in your machine, they do degrade in time, especially the old cotton thread. So if you think about it, we've inherited thread from great aunt Margot from centuries ago, maybe not centuries ago, but we've all got those tubs of Silco threads that we've inherited from great aunts and grandmas and so on. And they look lovely, and I know they do, but they can break really easily. So the test really is if you wrap it around your fingers and pull it, if it's pulling against your fingers and hurting and not really breaking, then your thread is fine. But if it breaks and snaps really easily without too much pressure on your fingers, then just ditch that thread. Just ditch the thread. I think that needs to be our new motto, is just ditch the thread. We'll ditch the old thread, keep the new thread. So it's not just old thread as well, it's quality thread. So we can go into any of those big like warehouse type, shed style craft shops that we all know and love, and they're fantastic. But they can sell unbranded thread, or you can get it from other shops as well. Unbranded threads in little reels, almost little paper reels, with no brand on them or anything, and they're pretty poor quality. And the reason is because those threads can have lots of fluff on them, and that can get caught in your machine. And again, they can be weak and break. So we don't want any of that going on. So I would choose a quality thread, whatever the quality thread you've chosen. I use Gutermann and Mettler personally, but there's lots of other brands out there. So get a quality thread for your machine. Your machine will thank you, and that should help make some of the tension issues go away, or at least the ones caused by breaking threads. If you've changed your needle, if you've got a good quality thread in there and you've still got some tension issues, it might be that your thread is just not caught in the tension discs, and these are this little bit in here. So we've got the tension disc that goes round here, and then they go into the thread looper at the top of your machine here and come back down again. So the easiest thing is just take a deep breath and unthread your machine. And there is a correct way for unthreading the machine as well. I've got a video on that too. Check out in the description below. And rethread your machine to make sure it is caught in that tension disc, or the tension discs. Okay, so that is number 3, breaking thread. So let's move on to number 4. Okay, Okay, number 4 is when your fabric can pucker up, and we've all seen it where it just all puckers whilst you're sewing the stitch line, and that's not great, and you know you've got a problem. And yes, okay, you can take it out of the machine and you can gently pull it out, but that means your tension is off, it is too tight somewhere and it is struggling. So first up, you might want to adjust your tension dial. So you might want to loosen that up to bring the number down slightly. So just nudge it little by little and until you get the right feeling tension on there. And as I said, I've gone that in, should I start that sentence again? I have gone into that in depth in my video on your tension dial. So check that out. The other thing that you might want to check with the puckering is not just the tension dial, but the threading again. So generally a lot of things can be sorted out by re-threading a machine, both top and bottom threads. So gently unthread your machine and then re-thread it, making sure that it's all threaded correctly. Your top thread is through those tension discs, as I said, and your bobbin thread is threaded correctly with your bobbin thread coming out from the back to the left, whether you're top loading or side loading. Try that one next. And then the third thing that we can try for this issue is making sure that we've got the same way to thread top and bottom. It can be quite tempting to get a thicker quilting thread on the top, but then just have a standard 50 weight piecing thread on the bottom. And your quilting threads are thicker than your piecing threads. So machines really want the same thread both top and bottom. So try that one as well. Make sure that you've got the same thread in the bottom as in the top. Okay, so I've saved the best to last. So let's get on to number 5 then. So number 5 is when you have got uneven stitches. Now, I haven't got any uneven stitches on here because I don't have any tension troubles on my machine, but we've all seen them when your stitches go from long to short and it's all a bit wobbly and it's not a great look, and you know you've got a problem, and that tends to be tension related. So that's another way that your tension troubles can show up. Who knew all these things could show up just through tension? So how to fix that? Again, unthread your machine and re-thread it. So that's always the first call. Second call is check your needle size. Quite often we haven't got the right needle size for your for the fabric or the thickness of the project that we've got going on. As we've got thicker fabric or we've got more bulk of fabric like a quilt going through our machine, we need to up our needle size. So if you've still got your 70 or your 80 size needle in from your piecing, maybe move up to a 90 and see whether that works better. Particularly if you're quilting, that can be a real big issue, that you've switched up to your quilting and the threads become the stitch line becomes really uneven. You get small and you get large, and that's because you haven't swapped up your needle size. Also with your quilting, you tend to be using, not all the time I know, but you tend to be using your thicker threads, so you still need to have upped your needle size for that. So upping your needle size both for your fabric and for your thread should help eradicate those tension troubles. If it doesn't, then we come back, we have a look at our threading, we have a look at have we got the right foot on, for example. So if you're quilting, you might want to put your walking foot on and not don't have your just standard presser foot like we have here. So you want your walking foot on. And then the last thing, I know I've said this before, but give your machine a good clean out. So when I've recorded a video on this, I shall pop it in the description below, but I'm sure there are plenty of other YouTubers out there who teach you how to clear out underneath your base plate. It's a really important thing to do. So I will show you how to do that in a separate video. So clean out any bits of fluff or lint really upset the machine, and that can cause that uneven stitching as well. So there you have it. 5 reasons why your machine is probably struggling with its tension and what you can do about them. But one of these should help, but all machines are slightly different. They're all unique characters, even within the same brand and the same make. They can have different characters and have little quirks and idiosyncrasies that we all know and love in our machines. So get to know your machine and always consult your manual for your machine. So my top tips: give your machine some tender loving care, some TLC, give it a good clean, make sure that lint has gone, there's no fluff anywhere, make sure it's threaded in the correct way, and always use good quality fabric, needles and thread, and that should generally do you fine. Always use the right size needle for the fabric you've got as well. And I have got a video on that. I'll pop it in the description below. If this has helped you, please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell down below. I will love you and leave you for now, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.